You know, the Oyster 575 is probably one of the few boats that we would take over Talisman. It's a little bit bigger. It's obviously a lot newer, and they're finally coming down in price to be less than $1 million. But that said, it is an incredible boat, and when you view this boat, look at this. It's substantially identical to what we have here with Talisman. The basic layout of the floor plan, it has not changed, and that's because Oyster and the designers of the boat really hit a home run. Holman and Pye, the original designers of Talisman, probably set the standard for this. And the design brief going forward was always just to keep it as much as possible like the original design, and that's what you see. If you look around here on Talisman, a 27-year-old boat, look at it. It's incredible. I should probably turn the nav station lights on so you can see. It is really something, and this is a smaller boat. This is only a 48-foot boat, so it's going to be a little bit less than what you see with the 575. But generally speaking, the woodwork is still cherry. It's that heavy-duty feel of the woodwork, and it's just amazing. So with that, let's go take a look at the boat that was on display in Annapolis, because it was a beautiful, example of what Oyster is making these days. So here we are on board Spirit Oyster 575, and just chatting with the Oyster folks. It's a beautiful boat, and it's representative of what Oyster has available these days. Just the stuff that's out there is beautiful. Here we'll just start the tour at the stern. We've got Simpson electric davits. Really a requirement for a cruising boat to have davits to be able to lift your dinghy quickly. A nice swim platform to get in and out of the water. A ladder. These Pelican clamps loosen up obviously and provide access to the boat. This is their EPIRB mounted outside, and a Navtech backstay tensioner, rod rigging for the backstay. Just beautiful flush mounted hatches and twin helms. And this is an interesting design concept, because you will rarely see twin helms on a center cockpit boat, because there's not enough width. So what Oyster has done is actually move the helm stations aft and actually out of the cockpit, which gives them the room for it. But it's still something that's only going to be available in the 565, the 575. The boat's really larger than 50 feet. It gets too tight. Anything smaller. We've got instruments at the companionway, and nice seating and speakers. There's Wendy.
Lusting after 575.
Oyster window setup was really they started the whole concept of this wraparound beautiful window setup, and that's everybody's copying that now. Formula mast. Unfortunately, no more Formula masts available as far as I know, because they're beautiful, beautiful products. And hydraulic Navtech thing. Reckman furlers. Reckman, very expensive furling systems, but top of the line, the best that you can get. A smallish Rockna anchor. I'd probably go a little bigger for a boat this size. Again, a very fixable situation. 12 mil galvanized chain on a Lumar, probably 1500 watt wings, I have to guess. Escape hatch for the forward, for the forward stateroom, and hatches that you could probably get out of even from the pilot berths if you had to. Lumar Ocean winches. This is a 68 and a 58. It's nice. Primary and secondary winches.
It's just a little busy down there, but
Well, here we are on board Oyster 575 Spirit with Dan Wartzberger, who actually helped us tremendously when we bought Talisman. Even though Talisman was not for sale from Oyster's brokerage, he continued to help us. So how are things going at Oyster these days, Dan?
Oh, things are great, Kevin. Yeah, thanks. We're, the company's doing great. We've got, a lot of boats in build. Brokerage market is strong. It's never better. It's very good.
Yeah, Dan's with the brokerage side in Newport for Oyster, and they move a lot of boats, and they're great people to deal with. And like I said, Dan really helped us out, and even though there was no real financial incentive for Oyster brokerage, and that was just so good. Oyster's been a wonderful company for us to deal with because they're in business and they've got a line on pretty much every part for our boat, even though it's 27 years old now, and that's just, you can't put a price on that.
Well, thanks, Kevin. Yeah, I appreciate it. We love having you guys as Oyster owners, and everything that you're doing for the community is much appreciated. We enjoy following your adventures as you sail around the world. And yeah, we're here for you guys. I mean, we build, as you know, new boats. We have used boats. We have a charter operation, crew services. We run a fantastic Oyster Around the World rally. We have owners events and regattas, and so it's all here for you. So enjoy.
Terrific. Thanks, Dan.
You bet.
So it looks like the same cherry interior that we have. Big, thick fiddles. I mean, this is what you buy when you buy an Oyster. Is the woodwork and the joinery is just top notch. Everything is done very, very well, and it holds together. It's great. Here you've got, this is the forward berth, a V berth, as they would call it, and it is a fully usable bed. This is not the place to be on passage because there's a lot of bounciness, even on a boat like an Oyster. You'll go airborne up here, so probably the people would move back to a pilot berth. But it's a great guest berth for for people when they're visiting, and so that's what that's for. It's great piece of great addition to the boat. Here we have our forward head. Electric toilet. Looks like silestone or Corian tops, which I'm a big fan of. They last a long time and they really hold together. Here you've got a glass shower enclosure, which is so important. When you're underway on passage and you have to take a shower, you have to be able to brace yourself and put your knees up against things so that you don't get thrown. You don't want a large shower enclosure. You really don't. And so here you've got top end faucets. They tend to use Hansgrohe, and this looks like a Hansgrohe shower there. Tile floor. And then here you've got a pilot berth with there'll be lee cloths underneath here so that people can hold themselves in place. Air conditioning, supply air vent there, and fans. Always important to have the fans. Mirrors. From a construction and project management standpoint, I'll tell you, mirrors do a great job of making small rooms feel bigger. That's probably the biggest reason to put lots of mirrors around. Just one of those small design things. Books, clothes, all sorts of stuff can go back in these little areas. A second crew berth here. This is what you get in the larger, almost sub 60 foot boats. But this is a great place to stage out of. With you can put your luggage in here. You can really get everything, and it's air conditioned. You've got screens, you black out the light if you want.
Jeff Anworsbach. Nice to meet you. Yeah. Welcome.
Very nice.
I saw this one's chartering.
This one is, yeah. This is a charter boat. Yep, so she's down in the Caribbean.
So,
And,
galley,
I'm sorry?
Got
Oh, no, he was in
Florian.
Newport, but she'll head down to the Caribbean after.
sliding pantry, stand-up refrigerator. Always love that. It's been something Oyster does a real, like a custom-made refrigerator body. This is not a something that you buy in the appliance store, which we've seen with some of the other boat manufacturers using pretty much just home appliances. They're not set up for the marine environment, and they don't last long if you're trying to do that. Okay, here we are. This is the owner's cabin, and it is gorgeous. This is the type of place you can really sleep on passage. This is the hinge point for the boat when it's underway, and you can sleep back here. I can tell you from experience that it's perfectly fine. There'll be lee cloths on both sides and maybe even in the middle that allow you to not fall out of the bed, and a nice changing area. You can sit here and change, and it's heavy woodwork as always. Supply and return air for air conditioning, and of course here's your master head right here. Yeah. Beautifully done fit and finish. Absolutely love it. Miss Wendy, what do you say? Should
Do we have it?
Well, we'll have to talk to Dan.
No.
We'll see about hooking us up.
I can't give up Talisman.
I know it.